Loose White dive on it.
This is twice now the Celtics have been first to the floor. They try to
Save with Horford. Unbelievable.
Boston first to the floor. So good.
Brown fakes, fires up the three. Bang! Tatum dives on the floor. Everybody dives. Jaylen Brown with the flush. Blocked by Porzingis. He's doing it all. Tatum spinning, driving, layup. Washington drives. Blocked by White. Oh, what a block from Derrick White.
All right, welcome into First to the Floor. Ben Vallis here. Thank you for joining us. Hope you're doing well. Alongside me, Jake Eisenberg, Wayne Spooney, and guys, what an insane roller coaster the last 48 hours have been. How you guys doing?
Good. My hair's been doing better. Yeah.
Your hair looks great, dude.
Yeah, you got some waviness going on today. It looks great.
It looks like a
jealous.
fucking soft serve ice cream, but
Yeah, tasty.
fun game. Yeah.
Have you been out in the wind today, Spooney? You look
I played a little
windswept.
hoop at lunchtime outside.
Okay.
Yeah, and then did a quick throw some cold. I work from home in the afternoon, so throw some cold water on me, clean it up a little bit, but not shower. So I suspect that is the culprit.
Oh, beautiful. Was it solo shoot around or?
Yeah. Just
Hey,
at
how's-
lunchtime, I just go out for like a half hour, 40 minutes, get some more, get in the lab, baby.
Right,
Miss a bunch
how's-
of jumpers while no
I was
one's
like,
looking.
how's the shot looking?
The shot is not good. The handle's still there. Still got the handle. So yeah,
Was the shot
that's
ever
it.
there?
No, I
Okay,
can't shoot.
got it,
Yeah,
got it,
yeah.
got
It was a Marcus Smart type. Yeah, young Marcus.
Young Marcus. All right, I got to see some of this footage. We got to get a Spooney
Right.
mixtape going on. Maybe between the three of us, it sounds like between the three of us, we are a complete player. Because I can shoot a bit, can't dribble, can't really do anything else. But I got some old man shooting game in me. I think Jake, you're a little busted up at the moment with the ankle, but you'll be back.
I will be back, which we'll get to when we talk about Jayson Tatum at the end of the episode here.
Yes, a very ankle-centric podcast coming up. Lots to get to. Insane 48 hours, like we said. And I think the best place to start, we'll get to the Tatum stuff. I know Noah Dalzell had a great informative article on the ankle situation for JT. We'll get to a little bit later. But heading into Game 5, emotions from the team. We heard about the JT message to the team played in the locker room before the game. My fandom's going in, by the time I'd sort of gathered myself after the Tatum injury, my fandom bulging. I was just yes, go Celtics. No expectations, out from under the weight of great expectations. Of can we do this? And fuck me if they couldn't, guys. 127 to 102. Great win. Just talk to me about your mindset, I guess, going into this one as a fan. Celtics season on the line, and they come out and blow the pants off the Knicks.
Go ahead, Jake.
I'm a little bit ashamed, I think, because I was talking about I don't know, man, just put me out of my misery. But by the time I got to the game, I was like, let's fucking win this thing for Tatum. Let's put some pressure on the Knicks. Let's make them sweat. And I really had to work myself into the game. My wife was being extra nice to me and and getting things for me and stuff. And she's like, I know you're legitimately depressed about this, and adding that to my own ankle thing and being able to not do stuff. And now Tatum was down, and I was just like, man, so much of my life revolves around this team, and losses and wins are one thing, but then seeing someone like Tatum go down like that, it really was hard for me to get going. But man, it did not take long. The Al Horford dunk under the basket into a Knicks timeout, the old fella looking spry, and then Luke Kornet, the ghost of Bill Russell flowing through him. It was incredible.
Yeah, the ghost of Greg Steamsma also.
There we go.
White Bill Russell too. Dude, it's funny you mentioned the wife because the next morning, my wife goes to bed at 9, right? So she's often asleep. So she found out what happened to Tatum in the morning, and she's like, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. You must be so upset. My dad died or something." And it's a person I've never met before had an injury, and he's a 300 bajillionaire, so he's probably gonna be okay. But yeah, man, it sucks. And then I went into that game basically I felt oddly confident because I was like, this is when they would win, something stupid like this when we expect them not to. But and I don't even know if it was so much as confidence of just I have less investment in the outcome because now I don't expect anything. Not that I don't think we can beat the Knicks still. It's just like the championship's probably off the table. So I went in just kind of like, let's just enjoy a basketball game. And yeah, that game was awesome. It was so fun. The crowd got super into it eventually. They were a little meek at first, and then it was great.
Yeah, apparently there was some traffic. Shout out Bobby Manning, security guard in the chat here. Yeah,
Manning.
Bobby Wow, my brain didn't even clock that it says Mobby Banning. Shout out was like, yeah, Jake's wife's wondering if he's cheating on her. In reality, he's like researching all the different Achilles injuries and split bridge surgeries that you can do. Yeah, man, the fellas brought it though. And apparently there was some traffic, and that's why the crowd was like a little quiet to start. I know, very Miami Heat of them to have that problem early in the game. But as the game went along, and as the Celtics just like exploded all over TD Garden and all over the Knicks, the crowd was just losing their fucking mind, barking. Shout out Luke, man.
That was so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the mantra like for title teams historically has always been like it's so difficult to repeat, and throughout this year we've kind of been figuring out like what that means and how it manifests, and particularly in the playoffs it's clearly like it's so hard to manufacture the motivation and then subsequently the focus. You can bring as much talent and athleticism as you like and experience, but if you don't have the requisite focus, like you will lose, as we've seen evidently. And in this game, we finally had like some of that real motivation. Tatum goes down, the team absolutely, the fan base completely rallying behind him, and they came out like super locked in, super focused, super motivated. And I thought that was really evident like from the tip. And that was maybe the most motivated Celtics we've seen so far these playoffs. So I know we're going to get into like X's and O's and individual performances and stuff like that, but I thought that was just really notable and clear how motivated and focused the team seemed off the back of the Tatum injury.
Yeah, man, they just looked really engaged. And it looked like Joe kind of opened up the playbook some, and there's something to be said about like guys like Pritchard and Derrick White just knowing like, I'm going to get a hell of a lot of touches tonight, so I don't have to worry about like, oh, should I shoot this? It's the playoffs. Like, oh, is this kind of really what I should be doing out here? It's like green light. Let's go. Pritchard took like 16 shots. Love it. Derrick had the greenest. Derrick's had a green light all playoffs.
For a while now.
I mean, yeah, but he was just on ball a lot more. I think he just looked really, really comfortable to me. And I thought like defensively from the jump, you could just tell these dudes were locked in. They were on an absolute string. Jaylen set the tone early and continued to set the tone throughout the entire game, just like totally getting in Brunson's jock, like from the second he crossed half court. Brunson wanted nothing to do with Jaylen Brown for basically that whole game. So it was great, man. And like the Luke stuff, and the crowd just started going absolutely bonkers. Like it was hype as hell, as the kids would say.
It was lit.
It was lit, baby. Yeah, because it wasn't just like the previous, I guess, the games where they won and lost. Games 1, 2, and 4 and 3. Game 1, 2, and 3, where they got out to these big leads immediately. The Knicks were up like 9, I think, early in the game, and the Celtics had to fight back. And like the Celtics go down in that game, and you're kind of thinking, man, it feels like they're not going to quite have the juice, and they stuck with it. It was all about the defense, and it feels like it's been about the defense for the majority of this series. And hate to just be like, you just got to make your open shots, but like they shot really well on open looks, and they generated a lot of good looks, but the looks always look a lot better when they're going in. But defensively, they were on a string, and part of that was saying goodbye to Kristaps Porzingis for the rest of the game, because he was a problem. He was a -12 in the game. The only person on the team that was a minus, and he was like -12 in 12 minutes. Suboptimal.
In a 30-point blowout.
Yeah. And like the offenses, we're gonna cover like the differences between Porzingis and Luke again, but having someone that can empty the tank, like, it's a playoffs, man. It's game 5. Your back's against the wall, and it's not his fault. Really got to like hammer this home, because I do think that, and I'm probably guilty of this. Like, shitting on KP a little bit, but it's like, it's not his fault. Like, it's clear that he can't breathe. So it's not his fault. It's really Joe Mazzulla's fault for continuing to put him in this situation, because to KP's credit, he's trying to give you everything that he has. He just has nothing to give.
Yeah.
And when you're playing in these high intensity games, you have to you need as much tank as you can. Like, everyone's so hype, you almost lose some of your own wind at some point, because like you're just so hype, and you needed people that could actually play hard in these moments. And Luke Kornet, Pritchard, always giving you those minutes. Hauser being back, great to see him back as well. But that was clear. I think that's the biggest difference in the game.
Yeah, like we'll get to Jaylen, who obviously had an incredible game, like career playoff high, 12 assists. But second half, Cornet doesn't play. Like, Joe finally makes the call. Okay, this guy's... Sorry, Porzingis. Sorry. I had a late night last night. Apologies if that's not evident already. Porzingis doesn't play the second half. Cornet plays the whole second half for the most part. And it's night and day. And we just have, like, obviously Cornet was incredible defending around the rim, 7 blocks in the game. But just some of those, like, fundamental, basic, foundational big man attributes like rebounding and moving your feet and defending well in drop coverage. And Luke's like switched a lot as well, and his feet were moving very quickly, defending some guards also. But just sort of like basic foundational big man skill set stuff that we've been missing from KP because he's just completely not himself, Spoonie.
Yeah, man. And you know what the biggest difference I think with Luke is on the offensive end? Because I watched back at most of this game today. Well, most of our offensive possessions, I should say. The screens. Oh my God. The difference between KP's like noodle spaghetti standing up screens and Luke's big boy like smacks you and create acres of space screens. Like, and again, KP, not a great screen setter, even when he's 100% healthy, but the way he slips and can pop and shoot from distance doesn't matter. But like right now, when he's not giving you any of that stuff, like you need to set good screens. You need to get these guys some daylight. And like, it just looks so much easier for the ball handlers when Luke's out there, because they're making the Knicks actually have to make real decisions in the pick and roll, because they don't really want to switch if they don't have to. And they've been fighting to not give up the switch, especially when Tatum or Jaylen has the ball and they have OG on him. But when you actually make contact with the screen and actually you force them to switch, or they're scrambling from behind and you can get downhill, you can hit Luke in the short roll, or you can hit him on the lob. And like that has made the offense go, man. And it looks just so much cleaner with Luke out there. And then defensively, it's absolutely night and day. I don't know if we want to get into like some of the stats we have about Luke versus KP, but right now,
yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right.
Let's do it.
Jake, why don't you start us off? Cause I know you've got a couple.
So we're going to get into like the Tatum conversation as well, right? Because of course that's turned into any chance anyone gets, right? It's got to be about how Tatum's, denigrate him to some degree, but this has been a thing with KP and Luke all season. And like going into the playoffs, we had talked about like the starting lineup kind of struggling like net rating wise, and then like overall the numbers with KP on were fine, but that starting group really didn't find like an elite level from a analytics perspective really at any point when he came back. So like so Joe should have known that he could go to Luke and feel confident that things are going to work really well, especially against this Knicks team. KP on, Luke off in the regular season, 1,065 minutes, 3.53 net rating, fine. KP off, Luke on, 1,216 minutes, 13.6 net rating. So a 10 net rating boost. And in the playoffs, it's like it's almost the same. KP on, Luke off, 4.29. Luke on, KP off, 18.48.
Wow.
And a lot of that's because of this series. And it's been evident from like the jump in game 2. And I think Joe Mazzulla deserves really most of the blame now that we're reflecting on the series for why we're down, if I'm being honest. Obviously, a lot of people deserve blame. Tatum wasn't good enough, games 1 and 2. Same with Jaylen in losses as well. But I thought Mazzulla really, really, really missed. and put the Celtics in a bad spot by just running this guy out there in the second halves of these games when it was so clear that like he wasn't himself on either end.
Yeah, man. It like jarringly so. Shout out to Leo on Twitter who tagged me in the rim defense stats for less than 6 feet, shots taken less than 6 feet. KP defending 4.7 a game. Opponents are shooting 64% against him, which is higher than their expected make. Like people are shooting better against KP than like the average defender in the playoffs.
Well, you know it, right? How many shots have just been like right over? It's like we're so used to when he's right there, him getting it, and because he's not leaving the ground for any contests or any rebounds.
I know it's so frustrating. Opponents are shooting 44% against Luke Kornet within 5 feet of the rim, which is like an absurd number. Under 50%, and he's defending 3.6 a game, and he's not played a ton of minutes. So not only is he like forcing misses in elite level, he's getting to a lot of shots and forcing a lot of misses. So he's just been like incredible on the defensive end, man. And like in isolation, he's only defended 10 isolations in the playoffs. Well, opponents are shooting 25% against him in isolation. Luke. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
5 points per possession against Luke in isolation. So like, obviously, you're not going to be like, let's switch with Luke Cornet, but he's shown, like he did against Josh Hart multiple times, he's shown that if he is out there on an island, he's not going to just get completely, totally blown by and dusted. He's going to keep him in front of him and make him take a shot. Whereas, like, again, KP is not healthy. That's what this is all about. That's why he looks so bad. But, like, it's the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not playing well, you shouldn't be playing. And, like, he's just looked awful in space. Basically the whole playoffs, but especially against like Brunson in this series, like unplayably bad in space at most the times this series.
Well, yeah, and you play the Knicks and you stick your big on Josh Hart, and even KP's ability to like recover. So he does sag off him naturally. That's what you do against the Knicks, but his inability to recover has just like allowed Josh Hart to cook at a higher level than he typically would. And we saw last night, like Luke, defending the paint, sagging off Josh Hart, then recovers to the point where he fucking blocks his corner 3-point attempt. He starts barking, the crowd's barking at him, the other guys in green are barking at him. Incredible moment. But like he just has like sort of fitness, like foundational skills that like KP, again, he's sick. He just doesn't have it. He's not bringing it.
Yeah. So I think this play right here encapsulates exactly what happened, like the difference between the two guys. It's incredible.
2 and 4. It was Mikal Bridges offensively.
Anunoby doubled, another block for Cornet. Throws himself into the stands to keep it. 6 block shots. Brown. Hauser. White. McBride closes. And Cornet is down low. Cornet's open.
Yeah, Luke.
Hauser the assist. Come on, man. And again,
workhorse.
It's not KP's fault. We're going to keep saying it. But look at how many things he just did in like 30 seconds, 26 seconds, according to the video. Like, comes over and helps, saves the ball. Like, I didn't think he had a chance of getting to that ball. And then he gets the Celtics out in transition. Like, this wasn't a game where you like were scrapping for every possession, but it's the playoffs. And we know, like, all it takes is for one play or two plays to go the wrong way. And that can be the thing that sparks a team to go on a run. And so that little play right there, he gets the Celtics out in semi-transition. Jaylen does a nice job probing, and instead of forcing it, the post up on Josh Hart like he did in Game 4, he just probes. He forces Mitchell Robinson to just like to take one step, passes it, and over to Derrick White, who pumps and goes. Doesn't really find anything, but you've got the defense just a little bit behind to Luke, who then immediately is looking for the next person, throws it to them, sets that screen, and how fast does he get out of that screen? How fast is he getting out of those screens? Like, that was the thing we've been screaming about since the Orlando series, has been like, we have to, if they're switching or whatever, you just like set these ghost screens. We're so good at finding Luke on these rolls and just wide open dunk.
Yeah, man.
So according to Joe Mazzulla, the only reason he didn't play KP in the second half was because he couldn't breathe or some shit, which I believe. Like, he looks like shit. He looks awful.
I believe
it. Just sitting on the bench, he looks terrible. But if just going forward, regardless of how KP feels going into Game 6, has Joe Mazzulla seen the light? Like, are we going to see Luke as the first big off the bench and KP not playing or playing in small bursts? Or do you think there'll be an actual change there? Or is he going to have to wait a whole fucking half before his hand is forced again?
How can you sit there and be like, he's not playing because he can't breathe? And it's like, he just developed this during halftime, Joe? Like, clearly he's laboring it. Like, we can all see how sick he is and how
since the Magic series.
Since the Magic series, how much he does not look like Kristaps Porzingis. Like, just stop. Maybe you give him 5 minutes in the first quarter and just see if he has it. But what are the odds he has it? Like 0? I mean, 1% maybe. And like you have given yourself a chance to steal this series. Like, just straight up, you beat the Knicks by 26 points. Like, you've had 20-point leads in just about every game in this series. Like, this is winnable still. The odds are stacked against you. Like, a 5-minute stretch where we get obliterated by, 10 points with KP out there could very well cost you the game. And if we're going to play offense like the way we were playing offense last night, Luke has to play because KP's value is getting the mismatch, getting in the high post, dominating the mismatch, and then making them bring 2 after he scores a couple times on the mismatch. He's not doing that, and he can't make a 3. He's made as many 3s as JD Davison in this series.
Cater outscored him yesterday.
Yeah, Cater outscored him,
dude.
In like 3 minutes compared to. So like, there's just no point. The margins are too thin. We've blown 20-point leads. Every 5 points the Knicks score while he's out there. When or every time we get outscored by 5 points in like a 3-minute stretch, Porzingis like can cost you games. You have no margin of error. Like, we just got to stop. Like, start Luke, start Al, whatever. But he just can't play.
Yeah,
I think that that's the obvious thing. I hope that Joe does it. I think the question is, do you give KP the Luke minutes, or do you give Cater the Luke minutes, or do you just try and survive with just Luke and Horford? I think you give KP the first half Luke minutes to see if he can move, but I think I'd rather just give it to Cater. And now we know my journey with Cater, everyone's journey with Cater, up and down. Can't play him when Brunson's out there. That would be a mistake. But I said it before, you need guys that are willing, or not willing, are able to like just jump and run and dive on the floor. Mm-hmm. Like, this is how the playoffs work, man. Cater's going to play 7 minutes. Can he give you 2 offensive rebounds? Battle Mitchell Robinson, catch a lob. Like, he can switch onto OG Anunoby probably. Like, I mean, he switched well all season long. Now, do I trust him switching against Brunson? No, I think Brunson would make him look very, very bad. But like, in the non-Brunson minutes, I think I'd just rather go with Cater at this point. I think you're just asking. I think the Knicks are just so happy when he's out there right now. You lost Game 4 because of it. You lost Game 4 because of it, because in the second half you couldn't get stops, and because they went right at Kristaps Porzingis in the drop coverage over and over and over again, and Derrick White just wasn't able to make up for KP's inability to get to those gaps. And and Derrick White as well. The 3-guard lineups as well worked really well. You have the luxury of Drew Holiday, Derrick White, and Pritchard being plus rebounders for their position. The double big lineups aren't helping you with the rebounding anyway. So you may as well take the other advantages of that, which is speed and shooting and scoring.
Yeah, more Pritchard. Absolutely. This is what it's become. We're legitimately talking about, the favorable qualities of Neemias Queta in the playoffs over Kristaps Porzingis. It's legitimately gotten this bad, unfortunately. Hopefully he just gets better. It seems like it's not going to happen. And, I'm interested to see the off-season expose on whatever the fuck is going on with KP's health, because it's crazy. And I think maybe at least in the NBA, sort of unprecedented. But, not a good situation at all, and terrible timing. And unfortunately, in KP, we want the best for him, and we've loved having him as a Celtic, but stacked historically with his other ailments, physically over the course of his career, and even over his short tenure as a Celtic, it's problematic, I suppose, in a word. When we come back, we're going to talk about Jaylen Brown, the rest of the game. Obviously, huge elements of this game that we haven't gotten to yet. But first, a quick word from our friends over at PrizePicks.
The playoffs are well and truly here. Celtics fans have experienced the emotional terrorism that is the playoffs, but it's PrizePicks. It's PrizePicks time. And sadly, in my notes here, I have been going more on Jayson Tatum points. That is no longer an option. I think we know what it is. It's Luke Kornet. Anything you want to go more on points. You want to go more on rebounds. You pick the statistic. I think we're loading up the big dog, the dog pound, going into Game 6 here. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game.
PrizePicks is very good. CLNS is very good, etc. I can't do it today, guys. Good work, Jake. Jaylen Brown could do it last night. Incredible performance, 26 points, 12 assists. Is that his career high in assists? It's definitely his playoff high in assists, but just an insane playmaking game from JB.
Yeah, man, and shout out to him for giving us this performance. And the whole game, though, is like bittersweet to me. It's like, could we have just had 40% of this version of Jaylen Brown in Game 4? Because the poise and the patience, and I don't know what it is about when Jayson Tatum's not playing a game, right? Because there are non-Tatum minutes that Jaylen Brown gets to lead in every single game. There is a mentality shift, in my opinion, that happens when he's without Jayson. And it's as simple as, I'm looking to get people involved. And I think when Jason's there, maybe he thinks that that's just Tatum's job. But Tatum, like, the best thing about him is that he doesn't chase points. He just chases the right play. And making the right play has been like the thing that we've lauded Tatum for all season long. And Jaylen's improved as a passer and a playmaker. But to me, was the biggest difference in Jaylen's game, is that he let the game come to him and he was looking to create an advantage and then find people. In the first half, I think he only had like 5 points, but he had 5 assists. And in the second half is when he really got going from a scoring perspective, because people kind of had to collapse on his playmaking. No, in the first half he had 17 points, Jake. That's absolutely incorrect. I think it was the first quarter. He had 5 points in the first quarter. He was 2 for 4 from the field, but he had 4 assists already with 0 turnovers and 4 rebounds. He was doing a Tatum impression.
Yeah.
He was making the right play. And I don't know why it takes him to not have Tatum in the game to play this way, because he's allowed to do a lot that he did yesterday in every other game that Jayson Tatum doesn't play in.
Yeah, man. I just confirmed, Ben, it is a career high in assists for Jaylen Brown. Previous was 11. So that's awesome. Yeah. Eric, I was going to say the pace was great for Jaylen. We played fast when we needed to play fast. And I thought when it was appropriate to slow it down, find the right matchup, we did that as well, or like run something. We ran a bunch of really awesome, intricate stuff that makes me think, like, why were we not doing more of that for the rest of the series? I think this might be my favorite Jaylen Brown game ever. Like the way he sort of just dominated the game in every facet, and like including defensively. And I've been critical of Jaylen's off-ball defense a lot. I don't really remember any huge mistakes he made. Like there was
a couple he got lost.
Yeah, that's okay. But like on ball, like his ball pressure was awesome. His point of attack defense was awesome. And like the playmaking, there was times where I'm like, who is this guy? Like he had these dump offs. Like I feel like a lot of Jaylen's passing is just like sort of Malcolm Brogdon-y. Like it's very obvious where the help comes from. The help comes from that place, and then he makes the pass, which is fine, which is great. That's all you really need. But like some of the stuff, he was like really manipulating the defense with like his eyes. Like he found Luke on one where he was like a dump off when he was looking the other way. And the handle, like dribbling into traffic, like nobody could get the ball off him. And like, I just thought the confidence in which he was getting into his shot too, like getting into the mid range, like one move, mid range, pull up, no bullshit. He did that 3 or 4 times and he made like all of them. So he just looked like the best player on the court, and like not by like kind of a long shot. And that was incredible.
Yeah, I thought he really leveraged his like size and physicality as well against a multitude of different Knicks defenders, and like pushing his defender down into the paint and drawing the big like defensive help, and then making the wraparound pass or the dump off pass, whatever it might be, to Drew in the dunker or Luke later in the game or Al. Like, I just thought the way that he generated his assists, his playmaking was really like, specifically linked to his physical attributes. Like, he used the best aspects of his game still to play make for other players, which is just an awesome, like, elite superstar sort of chaining of skills, which is awesome. And glimpses of like the Finals MVP, Eastern Conference Finals MVP, Jayson Tatum. Jaylen Brown, excuse me. So yeah, interesting to hear what's going on. Sorry guys, trigger word. What's going on with the knee? Because like physically, I thought he looked pretty great. Like not 100%, but seemed to be trending in the right direction. And my mind immediately wanders to Game 6 adjustments, which maybe we can just touch on a little bit now. As far as it pertains to Jaylen Brown, like surely the Knicks' number one focal point is going to be trying to expose him, a la Miami Heat, like the worst aspects of his game, and like get up into his dribble, try and force some of those, like boneheaded Jaylen Brown style turnovers. I think that might be where the Knicks look first as far as trying to win and adjust to Game 6.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. You got to try and bring out evil Jaylen here. And they were able to do that in Game 4. But again, like that mindset of like the willingness just to get off the ball and be looking for really easy plays. Like, because this team, especially when Luke Kornet's out there and Al Horford, like this whole roster now, and you obviously with Jayson Tatum as well, but like even Sam Hauser being back, everybody's making those quick decisions. People are coming to set screens, whether it's Derrick and Hauser or Derrick and Pritchard. Everyone just get off the ball. If they like, if the turnovers start to ramp up, or if OG's really having success, like getting into his handle, or they're like able to surprise him with traps or blitzes in pick and roll, or they're sending, they're really timing a second defender when he's in the post. Like, just be really willing to get off the ball, I think, and swing the ball and let Derrick White or Peyton Pritchard run something. I think that has to be, again, it's a mindset thing to me. And a willingness to trust your teammates here. And it's so frustrating, like continue to lean into the expanded playbook. I know Nick NBA was talking about how they ran stagger twirl 5 times and they scored every single time. I don't know what stagger twirl is, but Spoonie probably has it for us right here. Yeah, I just know the part where they score easier. And I'm like, they should do that more often. And then it's like, why did you have to wait till you're down 3-2 and Jayson Tatum tears his Achilles to run this stuff? Where was this in the fourth quarters of Game 1 and Game 2? It's really frustrating. And again, going back to Mazzulla here, like I think a lot of the blame does fall at his feet, because I don't think that the players just decided to run that more today, or like I don't know, they just had the idea this time as opposed to not, or Joe was telling them to run it in Game 2, and then they decided not to run it in Game 2. So I think sticking with those types of things, because that makes it harder to turn the ball over when you're running these types of actions.
Yeah,
is
so
that what
that one's. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just going to ask you what the fuck is stagger 12. We just had it on the video, but for the podcast listeners out there,
this is actually a Bilbao action. So stagger twirl. You said Pritchard, Luke, they're setting the stagger screens, right? Derrick, like it's NBA.com stupid clip, so it's not long enough, but they're going to set stagger screens for Derrick to come pop out. Bilbao is when you actually curl the first screen and go in between them. See, so he reads it because Deuce gets like really high up on him to take away that second stagger screen. So Derrick just back cuts it. That's Bilbao. Stagger twirl is if Derrick, as he goes by Pritchard, he turns and sets a screen for Pritchard, and then Pritchard actually comes up into the 2 stagger screens. So that's stagger twirl. We ran it a lot. I did not see when we ran it 5 times in a row. I suspect this is one of the plays Nick was talking about. We ran it a lot though, and Nick was spot on. He was all over it. Yeah, so stuff like that. Like we ran a 1-4, like this 1-4 setup where you have the ball handler up top and then 4 guys in a line. This is like high school offense. Like you never see the Celtics really run this type of set. Usually it's horns with people deep in the corners. And like, look at here comes Drew. Yeah. There goes Pritchard. Here comes Drew setting a back screen. Boom. Easy layup.
Brunson in the action.
Brunson in the action, make him make decisions, and then you've got Mitchell Robinson spaced out to the corner. Like this stuff's been there this whole series. I feel like we've been hesitant to like hit those backdoor passes and really get aggressive with our passing, and the guys were just feeling like really loose and free because the pressure's off. So it's frustrating. But then like you look at the entire fourth quarter of games 1 and 2, and it's like you don't see any of that type of ball or man movement, and when you do, it's lazy. And nobody's getting in and out of stuff, and nobody's setting nice, hard, like bone crunching screens like Luke does in that Bilbao action. So I suspect we'll keep running stuff like this. And you're exactly right, Jake. It's a way to like save Jaylen Brown from himself at times, where it's like, this is where you need to go with the ball. If that's not there, here's the next, like, then it'll turn into a stagger screen, or then you're going to run a pick and roll. And so I suspect we will continue to see that. And I trust Jaylen to be able to make those reads. Absolutely. And like, he gave me no reason not to after like the best passing game of his career. That's for sure.
Yeah, you talked about it earlier, like the quality of the Cornet screens. Like I would love to know, like why we haven't been running more like stuff out of the playbook throughout the course of the playoffs and especially the Knicks series thus far. But yeah, part of it has to be the quality of the screens that Cornet is setting, like you mentioned, and the extra space that it affords you, and then the ability to play make out of that. So more Cornet, please, I guess, is the takeaway. What else, as I try and keep my usage rate low, what else stood out to you in Game 5, guys?
Make sure you're using your guys here. So we talked about like Horford and Cornet. Horford only has to play 24 minutes in this game, which is so huge. And I don't want to harp on it too much, but I'm harping on it. Like, Horford went to the bench with foul trouble, and that was a big reason why he played as few minutes as he did. And he came back in with 4 fouls in the fourth quarter, and he grabbed 2 huge rebounds. And I was like, look how fucking fresh our Horford looks right now. And it's because you're not riding him to play 37 minutes coming off a day's rest. And so Horford should be feeling pretty good, honestly, I think. You have the blowout, plus he doesn't really have to play at all in the fourth quarter, the most high-intensity minutes. So you have to try and keep Horford fresh. You have to I don't think going to double bigs is the answer, because it hasn't been leading to like dominating the boards anyway. And having one of Luke or Horford on the court at all times, and having Horford fresh, like Horford played 24 minutes, Cornet played 25 minutes. As we all know, not a scientist, but 24 plus 24 equals 48. And it's 48 minutes in a basketball game. So
Brilliant.
We should be able to figure this thing out and have one of them out there and being like getting in and out, playing high intensity basketball.
Yeah, I absolutely, like, fresh Al Horford is just a completely different beast. It's actually like the rim protection stats. Al's right behind Luke at 50 or 48% defensive field goal percentage this playoff. So healthy rested Al is a complete game changer. So thought we went small a lot more, and I absolutely loved it. I've been begging for us to go small. The lineup of Holiday, Jaylen, Derrick White, and Peyton Pritchard, that 4-man group played 18 minutes in in game 5, plus 56.8 net rating. So they absolutely obliterated the Knicks with that 4-man group out there. And I suspect if you add Luke Kornet into the mix, that number is right around that as well. Like the Knicks, when Towns is out there, if you go small like that, they just cannot guard us. There's nothing they can do. And to your point, Jake, like the double bigs, they're not getting rebounds anyway. And like Pritchard flying in and Jaylen flying in for defensive rebounds, probably the best way to get them, with Luke out there, who's at least like boxing out and boxing Mitchell Robinson out. It just opens up the offense. Like Hauser looked great with the spacing he provides. Like that was really necessary. So I suspect like the double big, the 24 minute combo, like there's just we don't even need to overlap them. We can just play small, especially now that Hauser's back.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's clear. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
I was like, if you really want to go double bigs, you can do it for a few minutes, or that's the time where you have KP, or that's where you go Horford and Cater. You can still have the shooting with Horford out there, and you can run it with Cater. But that seems obvious, man. And Hauser makes it easier to do this too, because he gives you not big man rebounding, but he's a good rebounder. He gave you 1 rebound yesterday. Felt like
Beast.
but
he boxes out.
and just having his little, he had 2 really nice like side little, secondary pick and rolls where he found those passes over the top. He went 2 for 5 from 3. Like he got going in the at the end of the Magic series. It's really disappointing that we didn't have him for this entire series. And like going back to Missoula, not playing Sam Hauser in the first half of game 1 didn't make really any sense. And you see why, because he was good and effective in this game. And maybe he doesn't get injured if that doesn't happen in game 1 and butterfly effect, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I have to do that too much to myself, but I really can't help it. But at the same time, I think the Knicks are going to be like really ready to play with a lot more pace, intensity.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of reminded me of Celtics game 4 in Dallas, where like they're up 3-0 and then Dallas smacked them and they came back and won at home. I like that those thoughts entered my head. I think this is very different because like the Celtics are plus whatever in this series. Like,
yeah. Well, and the sort of the motivational factor we talked about, like the fact that they're rallying behind Tatum, like that will persist into Game 6 in New York for the Celtics as well. So yeah, I think the pressure is like absolutely back on the Knicks. There's very little expectations of the Celtics at this point, and we kind of have this underdog hospital Celtics vibe going into Game 6. So I'm excited. I'm like I said, my fandom is bulging because it's like under that, without that weight of expectations over you, it's just kind of house money at this point. It's a lot more fun. Obviously, I'd prefer a non-Achilles torn Jayson Tatum, which we'll get to in a little bit. But yeah, I've been experiencing those same mental spirals, Jake, like thinking about all the butterfly effect things that led to the Tatum injury. The Joe Mazzulla debrief when the season does eventually end is going to be an interesting conversation because I think we've always been collectively Mazzulla promoters, fanboys, if you will, and there's been just some unavoidably awkward mistakes and mishaps from Joe in this series. So we'll unpack that once this series is over and the Celtics have ideally progressed on to the Eastern Conference Finals, but that's a tale for another day. A couple of other things to get to very quickly because we've got to sort of zip through the rest of this so we can leave time for the Tatum stuff, but just shout out Derrick White. Just 9 for 16 from the floor, 7 made threes in this game, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. Like, he was just so aggressive from the get-go, got himself to the free throw line, was incredible defensively. We saw way less glaring, like, going at Derrick White, exposing Derrick White defensively in this game as well. So all around, great bounce-back game. And it also just reaffirms what the structure of the roster should look like going forward, and the fact that, like, of course, Derrick White is one of those players that you just have to hold on to with both hands for the remainder of his NBA career, essentially.
He's the best, man. He's the best.
How was last night?
Man, you think you're in bad shape.
Sweaty.
Goodness.
You saw?
I'm in all the right places. It's he knew what he was doing yesterday. Man, I love him. And you mentioned the defense, Ben. Having Luke Kornet out there and having someone that's like in the right positions and containing the ball more, I felt like it allowed Derrick White to fly around, and you're not just purely in like this back down situation with Jaylen Brunson. They did a really good job of containing Brunson by like showing help and then forcing Brunson to kind of like pull it out a little bit and then make a decision or get rid of it. And then they're already down to 8 seconds by the time Brunson gets the ball back. Like, all those little things, those little stunts and hands up, all those little things added up. But Derrick White, like, talk about playoff risers, man. This dude has some monster playoff games. And I would imagine if you asked Knicks fans how they feel about Derrick White, and they're like, that dude terrifies the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw a Knicks fan tweet that was like, I can't wait to be done with Derrick White.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good. Yeah. Speaking of Knicks fans, very angry Knicks fans. Obviously, they're probably feeling the heat a little bit, but like specifically around the fouls on Jaylen Brunson, who was grifting so hard in the fourth quarter, including at one point, Al Horford just kind of pulled the chair. He simply fell over, no foot contact at all. I believe it was like a shoelace, maybe. It was so like negligible. Unfortunately, the challenge on that was unsuccessful, but it's something that you have to challenge. But I think the grifting, the unethical hoops from the Brunson side of things negates and offsets everything that the Knicks fans are complaining about. Do they have a case here at all, Spoonie? We'll go to the lawyer, Spoonie. Is there a good case from the Knicks perspective?
I mean, I just think absolutely not, Your Honor. If you look at the evidence presented by the other side, ultimately, they really don't have any legitimate video evidence of Jaylen Brunson not committing a foul. Every video that they've presented today in court, Your Honor, has been a foul, a legitimate foul. Was one or two of them a little soft? Perhaps, but a foul is a foul. Tony Brothers, blew the whistle. Sorry, buddy. Like, if you are gonna let Jaylen, like, if you're gonna let Jaylen Brunson launch himself into Derrick White, who's standing with his hands back, and get 2 free throws, you're right, Ben. You cannot then come and complain that little Jay Brunson, little JB, like, oh, rake down on Jaylen Brown's arms or something, and like, why did he get a foul call? It's ridiculous. Like the one they were complaining about when Jaylen like swim moved him. Brunson's not in a legal guarding position. He's like basically like shoulder charging Jaylen Brown. Like, yeah, Brown got a little piece of him on the way by, but it's because he was in a legal guarding position. So I like maybe one of those fouls was BS, but like, dude, you shot 40 free throws.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. The Knicks shot 40 free throws to the Celtics 26, and now 6 of those were Mitchell Robinson. But so we'll take 4 of them away because big men usually shoot 1 pair of at least like under the basket, right? So what? That's 36 to 26 free throw attempts, and the Celtics missed 9 free throws. By the way, this thing could have been a lot worse. Yeah. The Knicks missed 8, but they were still 80% from the line because they shot so many. The Celtics shot 65% on 26 attempts, which is kind of a disaster, and was like feeling early in the game when it was still close. It was like, oh man, we've got 5 missed free throws here. This is kind of something that really hurt us in game 4. But yeah, the play where Derrick White's defending Brunson, and you just talked about Spoonie, and Brunson just sprints directly into him, and Derrick White's backpedaling, takes the hit like directly on him, arms up, and they fucking call a foul. I was like, that just removes, I don't care what anyone says about the refs.
Yeah.
Also, it was a 20, we won by 1 million points.
Yeah, right.
Spoonie's got it. That's great.
I think I'm not. Yeah, this is it. This is the one. I'm pretty sure. Here we go.
This is just
like, what is he supposed to do as a defender? Hands back, hits the square in the chest.
Fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
There's nothing you could do. Is he supposed to just move?
Yeah.
Get out of the way? Let him score?
Nonsense. I did enjoy the moment though of like the Jumbotron cutting to Brunson. He like gave like a little
that was
little
funny.
wave to the crowd.
Yeah, that was cool.
I need that to be able to be utilized after we win Game 6 and then Game 7.
Man.
Please. I was not expecting to have these playoff feelings again, man. I was like, even after we won Game 5, I'm like, oh, I'm going to be able to enjoy Game 6. It's just like house money, but I'm already getting the like, we could fucking win this game, dude.
It's only 7.
It's only a 2-point line. It's the closest a line has been in any game. Even the Celtics were favored by more in yesterday's game. So this is the 2-point line is basically a pick'em. This is like, it could go either way.
And we've kind of already dealt with some of those grieving the season, end of the season feelings a little bit. So I don't think it'll be as impactful if we do unfortunately lose Game 6. Like we've built in that expectation at this point. So there is a house money element to it in that sense. But yeah, I'm hyped. I can definitely win Game 6. You bring it back to Game 7, TD Garden, anything can happen. So we're right there. Anything else on like the look ahead to Game 6? We'll get to the Tatum stuff in a sec. We'll get to an ad break. Anything else on Game 6 before we move on?
Just win, baby.
Please. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
All right, Tatum stuff in a second, but first, here's a quick word from our friends over at GameTime.
There's nothing better than playoff basketball, and I've been to one playoff game in my life, and it was the 2022 Game 3 NBA Finals, Celtics Warriors. I went with Benjamin Vallis of First to the Floor fame, and it was legitimately one of the best days of my life. And you know how I got in the door? GameTime. It was super easy to get tickets. I just hopped on the app, searched for the game or team you're looking for, and then you're shown all the available tickets and all the best deals right on your phone. Their curated deals make it even easier to find the best seats at the best prices and last-minute deals on tickets right up to the start of the event, even an hour after it starts. But maybe my favorite feature is the seat view. It'll show you exactly what it looks like from any seat before you buy. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download GameTime today. What time is it? Game time.
Shout out GameTime. Legitimately, like the best platform available, I think, for ticket purchases and last-minute ticket purchases. Use that code CLNS to get yourself a good deal there and show our players, our overlords at CLNS that we're worthy of their time and their business. Nice one, Spoony.
Tickets for Game 7. Get them right
there you
now,
go.
baby. Get them. Go fucking get them.
So the Tatum injury, I don't even know how to find the words here, possibly because I was drinking literally buckets of margaritas like 12 hours ago. But a couple of things. Seriously, Mexican restaurants, they serve these huge buckets of margaritas. Oh, yeah. We did some go-karting before that. It was a good night, but a little busted up today. Unfortunately, Jayson Tatum also slightly busted up. Couple of things. The worst of Hoops Twitter I think I've ever seen. And then subsequently all of the Ewing theory stuff around Jayson Tatum post-injury. But I saw some Knicks fans being like, new profile pic, and it was a picture of Jayson Tatum being like wheeled away, crying on the wheelchair. Shit like that. Like the lowest of the low that I have personally witnessed as far as basketball Twitter. Which is disappointing. And then you mentioned it earlier, Jake, the mental doom spiral of like all the things that led up to the injury and the moment where the injury occurred. I can't stop picturing it where like it was a move of desperation to try and leap towards, that errant pass and try and stop the Knicks getting out in transition off a turnover. All the things that led up to that, I kind of felt like the team let him down. Like those are the feelings that I'm having where like up until that point, Tatum was the only guy in green who sort of played decently in that game. And the team was just kind of being like, okay, JT's got this. And I felt like all of that led up to the injury. I don't know. That's just where my mind's at. What do you guys think?
Yeah. On one hand, a lot of the pods and like bigger content people used it as a chance to like give him his flowers. And it's like, yeah, great. After you fucking shat on him for the past 3 years now, it takes a catastrophic injury for you to finally be like, oh, you know what? We're going to miss Jayson Tatum. He's good for the NBA. And that's not everybody, but that was definitely part of that. And the Ewing theory stuff, fuck you, Big was. You liked the Kuzma trade for the Bucks, you dumbass. Yes. The Ewing theory doesn't apply to people that have won NBA titles. That's kind of the whole point of it. So you knew that was coming, and then with them winning, that was obviously going to happen when it was like so clearly the reason the Celtics looked so much better was a very simple insertion of a Luke Kornet and a removal of Kristaps Porzingis, which is unfortunate. But I will say I'm feeling a lot better between the inspirational win and the idea of seeing this team next year with this version and a developmental year for Shireman and Walsh and whoever they draft and like kind of just like a no title, no pressure type of season. Like obviously would much prefer to have Tatum and still have the chance to win a title. And then if we get to the Noah Dalzell article, but like a lot of the stuff's been like as optimistic as we can be.
Yeah, like for a devastating, catastrophic injury to your best player, it's like as positive as I can feel about something like that, I suppose. Yeah, the let Tatum down feelings, Ben, I definitely kind of felt that way. I mean, the man had 42 points and like nobody else could make a shot or even like hold on to the ball. And he's like defending big men on the other end. It's like you're almost asking this dude to do too much, but he's always done like that amount for the last 5 years. So it's just weird seeing him get hurt. Like we've watched like Jayson Tatum basically like every day for 7 months a year for the last 8 years. So it's going to be strange watching the Celtics without him. It really is, man. But I will say like it kind of reminds me of an IT year where it's like, well, I bet we can win 50 games. Like this will be kind of fun. Nobody's going to expect anything. Maybe we'll sneak into the Eastern Conference Finals, which is cool. And I love seasons like that. But nothing compares to being a title favorite, dude. Nothing compares to it. So it's a total bummer, but it's still going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think there'll be some good vibes, and it's not a rebuild year, but it's maybe like a developmental year for a lot of guys, the Baylor Shiremans of the world. Even like Jaylen Brown will have a lot more room to work on aspects of his game, and probably, unfortunately, similar to how Tatum has been more recently, like a lot more under the microscope as far as the national media is concerned. So it'll be interesting to see how he deals with that. But yeah, let's get to the Noah Dalzell article on Celtics blog, which is great, celticsblog.com. The link is in the description. I think if it's not, I'll throw it in there later. But to summarize very quickly, so JT, he had successful surgery at the HSS, the Hospital for Special Surgery, which if I'm going to have fucking surgery, I'm going to have it at the Hospital for Special Surgery, quote, just hours after the injury occurred. And according to multiple sources, the surgery was performed by one of the world's leading Achilles tendon surgeons, Dr. Martin O'Malley, who also operated on Kevin Durant after he ruptured his Achilles. Definitely go check out the article. Noah, she interviews Dr. Lou Sozlowski. He tore his own Achilles playing volleyball and then returned 7 months later, apparently, for whatever that is worth. And he found the fact that Jayson Tatum, he's 27 years old and was able to get his Achilles repaired the following morning, like literally hours after the injury occurred, to be hugely encouraging and kind of unprecedented. And so Dr. Martin O'Malley, the article goes on to say, would just happen to be in New York and available to perform the surgery, again, hours after the injury occurred. The shorter version is, like, normally by the time you have surgery, this is why they're encouraged by it, a bunch of scar tissue has typically built up around the site of the injury, but because the tendon was repaired so quickly, that wouldn't have necessarily happened, and thus recovery should be quicker and of a higher quality. And then in a separate instance, Jayson Tatum's dad, Justin Tatum, told Mark Spears in an interview that it could be like 8 or 9 months, which would be around after the All-Star break in February, potentially for Jayson Tatum to return. So of the worst case scenario, potentially out of that, the best case scenario of all of those things in terms of how everything went down, guys.
Shout out Noah, man. Fucking great work.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, so much positivity from her, and we just needed it. And this article, you obviously don't want to tear your Achilles, but like the fact that they happen to be in New York, the doctor happened to be ready to go the next day. Like, she even outlines like the other players, like Durant, right? He got his Achilles torn on the Monday, didn't get surgery until the Wednesday. Like, she lists a bunch of examples here, like Dame and Wes Matthews and all these other guys. Like, there's like 3, 4, 5 days, and he literally got it done. Like, I don't think it. I mean, how much sooner was it even possible to get it done, right? Like, you got us the best possible case scenario here, 27. And then Bobby Kravitsky also did an article today about talking to another Achilles person. And that doctor was like, age, how fast he got it done, I think he can legit come back better. And I was like, oh my God,
yeah,
let's fucking go. And you know what? If you want to live in the world where, because like I'm a realist. There's a world where maybe he doesn't come back as good, but I'm going to live in the world that I believe that he's going to come back as good, get right back on track for this Hall of Fame career that he's already had, and build the second half of this Hall of Fame career. Like, we know if anybody, once he gets through this mental pain of not being able to play basketball for the first time in his life, essentially, for an extended period, which is going to be really hard, he's going to attack it as hard as anybody. Kobe going through it, like, he's going to tap right into all his Kobe stuff. And yeah, I got a few examples of some guys, but Spoony,
yeah, there's no man on the planet I trust to do everything that, like, for rehab, absolutely perfect and like absolutely at 100% than Jayson Tatum. Like, he lives for like the routine of like working super hard and doing what like trainers and doctors tell him to do. So he's built to come back from an Achilles. I suspect he will come back, and like his game is not predicated on like quick twitch athleticism. Like, he's huge, which helps. And he's like skill and fakes and like getting guys off balance. Like, he's not a bad athlete, I'm not saying that, but it's not like, oh, John Morant, he just blows by you with speed and like that's what he does. Tatum is not that type of player. So like, he's not, even if he loses like a half a step, I don't think it's fatal to his game. But even so, I doubt he's going to lose a half step. He's going to be better. He's going to be great. It's not going to happen. We're fine. Everything is okay, guys.
Please, Lord.
Yeah. And the other bit as well, he was in his off foot, like his right leg, and apparently it's better to be in, like, he jumps off his left, like that's like his main leg. So another thing that's apparently like in the research, it's like that's actually quite a big deal. Is for the players, it's like their dominant, their push off leg, it's in the other leg. So like, you honestly can't tick more boxes. If it's gonna fucking happen, and then we'll take it, man.
Well, here's our king in hospital, healing up. It's a tough image to look at, but dude looks like he's having a decent time there. I think the medication is doing its job. Absolutely.
So
I'd love to see that.
Before we go, so a couple of examples of guys.
Sure.
Right. So Kevin Durant's the poster child, right? And he did it at the end of the 19 season and came back 18 months later. He could have come back earlier, but didn't because of the bubble, and the Nets were like not really a thing. But so his first playoff run, remember that? He took down the Celtics in round 1. We had that Tatum 50 ball. Jaylen was out. Evan Fournier was fucking playing basketball for the Boston Celtics. That was his first playoff run back. 12 games between the Celtics series and the 7-game series against the Bucks. 40 minutes per game, 34 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists on 63% true shooting. And in Game 7 against the Bucks, 53 minutes. He played every single minute of a regulation and overtime, had 48, 9, and 6. I'm like, I'm going to go back and like cut together like clips from that playoff run from Kevin Durant as like this was his first playoffs back. And he was a top 5
ridiculous
guy immediately, if not like top 2, top 3 immediately again. So that's the guy right there. J.K. Dobbins, football player, running back, ACL. Like, he got decimated by injuries. Did his Achilles in September 2023. And everybody was like, bro, he's cooked.
Done.
Running backs, ACL, Achilles, no chance. Comes back the following year, has the best season of his career, and saves me my fantasy season from having to spend 24 hours at McDonald's or run a half marathon while drinking 6 beers. And the most important piece, my rehab starts today.
Of course.
Got my stitches out yesterday from the ankle surgery. Rehab starts today. Jayson Tatum can take inspiration from my journey. Yes, it's not an Achilles. Yes, it was a second arthroscope on the same ankle. We do not have the same physiology. We may as well just be different species. So, like, if I can recover, so I better recover now that I'm saying this.
Yes.
I have to hold myself accountable. Jayson Tatum, I got you, dude. You can follow my trail. All together, we're gonna be back, baby. We're gonna be back.
Come on the pod, JT. Let's talk ankle recoveries. Let's just hook you guys up. That'll be great. Shout out Jake. Good luck with the rehab and the recovery, mate. And of course, the same goes to JT. I think we're going to leave it there. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for joining us. Please hit that like button. Leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. You can also catch the video format of this pod over on Spotify. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss anything over here. Tomorrow, Jake's hosting the watch party over on Playback. That's playback.tv/Celtics blog. Then we're right back here live with instant reactions right after the final buzzer. Then Celtics late night, maybe a little bit later. Spoonie, Jake, love your work, guys. Until next time, go Celts.